Hi, it's Dr. McCoy here. If you haven't seen my previous video that focused on temporary filler and talked about hyaluronic acid gels, make sure you click on that video because I'm going to be talking about longer lasting filler in this video, focusing on Sculptra. And if you haven't heard of Sculptra, Sculptra has been around for a while. It's been kind of like that hidden gem, meaning the top injectors nationwide, and I get to speak on the podium and get involved with behind the scenes at a lot of the meetings, and all the top injectors incorporate Sculptra as part of their practice. Sculptra is a biostimulant filler that stimulates collagen but is also longer lasting. I feel like it lasts about 3 years. If you read brochures like this one, or if you Google things online, it'll often talk about 25 months as being the duration for Sculptra. But the original studies, they stopped at 25 months. And when you looked at that time frame, the majority of patients still had great correction. So I feel from my experience that it lasts about 3 years. Sculptra is really cool. It's very different. I love Sculptra. I'm one of the top Sculptra injectors nationwide. I'm definitely #1 in Arizona as far as focusing on the face. It's very different. In the previous video, I showed you what the gel looked like, a hydrogel, a temporary gel. If you haven't seen it, go back and click on that video. Sculptra is very watery. It's a watery injection, so it's very different. In the way I describe it, in the way I've trained it, because I have trained multiple injectors over the years on Sculptra, all the different injectables, but Sculptra is very unique. And it's kind of like when you're injecting filler, most of the fillers are very similar to inject. It's almost like dancing and doing the tango. If I can tango with one person, I can probably tango with another person. And it's kind of the same with filler. With Sculptra, it's like doing hip hop. It's a totally different type of injection, totally different kind of dance. I love it though. I started injecting Sculptra in 2005, so I've got a lot of experience. I use it hand facially for the whole face. When I first started using Sculptra, most of my patients were HIV patients, because with HIV, you get facial wasting, and we can use Sculptra to correct that. That was the original label indication for Sculptra, but we use it for cosmetic purposes as well. And one of the unique things with Sculptra is we get beautiful biostimulation. So we stimulate your own collagen, which does give us volume, but it also improves skin quality. That's something that the other temporary fillers does not accomplish. We don't see the improvement in skin quality. So with Sculptra, we're getting volume that's long lasting and skin quality that's long lasting. And it usually takes about 3 months to see that skin quality improvement with Sculptra. So it does require a different type of patience. So the temporary filler, you get an instant result. With a biostimulant, you need to give it a little bit of time. And from experience, what I would say is after injecting, at about 3 weeks, it starts to look a little bit better. But set a reminder in that phone, because at 3 months, you'll wake up, you'll look in the mirror and you'll be like, ooh, I look good. Or all of a sudden you'll have people complimenting you and saying your skin looks good, or you look rested. Did you take a vacation? What's going on? And it's the Sculptra. And I can tell you behind the scenes, every single celebrity you see that you look at, you think, oh wow, they look really, really good. Odds are they're getting Sculptra, okay? It's not a hidden secret anymore, but for a long time I think it was. Sculptra is very comfortable to inject, mainly based on my technique. I've had lots of patients that have had Sculptra from other injectors, and they talked about how uncomfortable it was. The way that I do it, I feel like my technique is much more comfortable, so it's not a difficult experience for the patient. We do a lot to make you comfortable. We also have laughing gas. If someone's more sensitive, we can use that to make the whole injection process more comfortable. After treatment, you might have a little bit of swelling. Typically, the swelling looks good, and 90% of my patients could go out for dinner that same night. For the most part, the worst of swelling, just like with the temporary fillers, the worst of swelling is for 48 hours. It's always much better after 48 hours. In fact, I have many patients that kind of plan their Sculptra treatment so that it's about a week before an event, because typically at that week time period after the injection, they still have like a little bit of swelling. They look really good. So it's kind of like they're Sculptra ready for their event. And then it just continues to improve from there. This is typically done in multiple treatments. Temporary filler is typically done in a single treatment, but when we do Sculptra, that biostimulation, we do it progressively over time. Meaning I inject, things look better, give it a little bit of time so that your body makes some new collagen. It takes your body 45 days, 6 weeks to make brand new collagen. So it takes time to see the full result. And then we follow up and I build on what we did before. So it's baby steps, which not only gets a great result, but it also ensures a natural result. Because I'm never going to overdo it. I'm never gonna overdo it with you so that you can have a natural looking result that looks like a younger version of yourself. Sculptra is one of my go-tos. 80% of what I inject day to day is biostimulant, and that's not changing. I think if anything, that's gonna grow because that is where the general population is going, focusing on the regenerative properties of something like Sculptra to stimulate your collagen and build your own volume. Cheers.